Good evening, welcome to the 2016-2017 presidential debate. I'm Kyle Cutshaw, the Assistant Dean of Students and Senator SGA. I'll be serving as your moderator for tonight and have asked some of your fellow students to also serve on the moderator's panel. My fellow Senator Aaron Taylor will be here, as well as Edgar LeWhite and Megan Henderson. The candidates met and agreed upon rules last week. Each ticket will have 5 minutes for an opening statement. Those will be followed by questions from the moderator panel as well as audience questions. We've distributed cards to the audience, and we'll certainly be pulling from that, and also the White Talker staff have posted. Looking for questions this afternoon, so we're going to take some off Facebook as well. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond to the question, and then the opposing ticket will have 90 seconds as well. Once the 90 seconds is up, we'll hear the sound, and then we'll show you time's up. At this time, I'm going to let the candidates introduce themselves very quickly, and then we'll start the debate.
Hi everyone, my name is Lincoln Brooks. I'm a literature junior here, and I'm just so happy you all came out. Thank you all.
Hello, how you guys doing? My name is Paul. I'm mass communications major here, and just happy to say I'm really happy that y'all came out.
Hey guys, I'm Chase Krickenberger. I'm a junior here at Emory, and I'm a philosophy and political science major.
I'm Taylor Fisher. I'm a history and modern politics double major.
All right. Just first, you won the toss, so your ticket will be the first chance for opening comments.
Absolutely, I'm going to split my time with Murph, so we'll get that up here in just a moment. So very quickly, I just want to say that McFarland, Murph, and I, we're a dream team, if I say so myself. We both embody the power of community team building and creative problem solving. My running partner represents areas of athletic and Greek life. I'm involved in service, peer educators, and other groups. I've had 4 years of SGA experience at a high school larger than Emory and Henry. Murph and I both have pronounced ties to the campus community, and we're both passionate about representing students in order to create a greater quality of life for students and to promote student-patient listening and help heal our campus community. How exactly do we plan to accomplish this goal? Great question. I work to increase student representation with administration, to ensure there are more and better advertised opportunities for students and administrators both to meet face-to-face to discuss some very serious issues. On my end, I have several concrete goals concerning how I plan to work for my fellow student body and for the administration as well. Number one, I plan to implement regular town hall style forums in which administrators and students can speak about their issues. I plan to create more safe spaces to discuss complex issues on campus. And we'll campaign for updated diversity training for the board of directors, admissions, and current administration. Number two, I plan to work with administration to increase opportunities to ease access of reporting outlets for problems that students may face, such as sexual assault, racism, miscellaneous. This information will be included in a concise and easy-to-find reporting handbook that will be located in each of the academic buildings and dorms for easy access. Our campus is absolutely wonderful in its accessibility to extracurricular opportunities. I plan to work to enhance the reach of these clubs by fostering internal campus partnerships and cross-campus partnerships with our clubs. Furthermore, I plan to reach out to the student governments of other schools to make regional partnerships so that club members may have club exchanges, so to speak, with other schools via Skyping in or perhaps even traveling to, depending on the proximity, at least one meeting per semester of these other clubs. Most importantly, I acknowledge the need to listen to dissenting opinions and the needs of all students, putting aside my own bias to work with others and create campus harmony. I'm a quick and eager learner, and I look forward to learning more about all of my fellow students, including each of you all, in my potential role as Emory and Henry's student body president. Thank you so much for your consideration, and now I welcome up Mark.
Well, how y'all doing today? This is my first time ever doing anything with SGA or any kind of politics or anything like that. But one thing that I will say is that I'm extremely excited to work with y'all and extremely excited to be a part of this campus community. One of the things that I really want to do here at Emory Henry is make this campus make it more diverse and bringing everybody, including the student body, together, along with the student body and the faculty and staff. Some of the things that I want to do here, and some of the things that I want to accomplish is just having more activities, providing more infrastructure for the dorms and other places, having more varieties in the caf, finding ways to make students be more together on campus, and create a more positive and diverse environment for students on campus as well. I have various plans to reach those goals, and I plan to work with everybody on this campus to make those goals, help those goals be met. As I said, this is my first time, and I'm really excited to really work with everybody here, and I hope that y'all give me the opportunity to really work as vice president, and that's all I really have to say, and I just hope everything works out well. Thank you.
Student government has been not only an interest, but a passion for myself and my running mate for the last 2 years. A passion defined both by our dedication to student interests and the need to make lasting real changes to our campus community. As members of the Senate Rules Committee, we've worked over 100 hours to lift the dry campus alcohol policy on campus, and we've also amended the student government constitution twice and written a resolution regarding the presence of natural Greek life on campus. In doing all of these things, we've spent hours with campus administrators working to better the community based on the interests and concerns vocalized by our constituents. So needless to say, for the last 2 years, when it comes to our dedication outside of the classroom and to Emory and Henry College, Taylor and I have dedicated our time and effort to making students' voices heard in a very practical way. And it's this cornerstone of experience that highlights why Taylor and I are the most qualified candidates to serve as student body president and vice president. Because while it may not have all been highly publicized, Taylor and I have already been making real changes to our college community. And we've done so as a team that works well together, in which no one person has more to say than the other. Our platform reflects largely what we've heard from our constituents and what we see as the biggest challenges facing student government in the coming year. First, we want to make SGA an organization that unites other organizations and helps encourage leaderships amongst the already great leaders we have in those organizations, and not only encourages them to be more active on campus, but works with them to plan events geared towards the interests of our constituents and the members of those organizations. In other words, we want to increase the visibility of our already great campus organizations, and at the same time allow the Senate to become more active in listening and participating outside of Senate meetings. Taylor and I have already started collaborating with Josh Castle, and we'll be launching a new website to help facilitate club activities, which you can visit right now at ehcstudentactivities.com. Our hope is to pick up where Taekwon left off with the help of Josh Castle to launch the new Adopt a Weekend program, which will be a joint project between the Senate and the campus organizations to provide more activities for Emory students on the weekends, a complaint we often hear, and help alleviate some of the burden from our already hugely busy Emory Activities Board. Our second major platform goal is to improve campus common areas, improve campus lighting, and work with the administration to see what, in the current state of the budget freeze, we may be able to do to create a common social area where students can socialize and do homework, such as a coffee shop, which is currently in the work and we hope to see implemented during our time as student body president. These ideas, I think, are vital to campus culture and campus safety. However, we as a college are currently working on a tight budget. And while we may not be able to accomplish every goal on this platform, we will at least work with the administration to see how we can get the ball rolling on these projects and what we can do as a community in the meantime to make the campus a better place with the limited resources we do have. Finally, our last platform goal is to make a more engaged Senate. It's no secret that with a few exceptions, the Student Senate and SGA have become less engaged and active the last several years. However, without an engaged Senate, it's nearly impossible to make any of your goals accomplished or any of our goals accomplished. Therefore, Taylor and I have brainstormed ways to increase Senate engagement and create a more active Senate. In doing so, we hope we can encourage new policy initiatives amongst the senators and create a greater sense of camaraderie, which promotes teamwork and gets students as passionate about SGA as Taylor and I have been for the last 2 years. Lastly, I want to take the final moments to say thank you to everyone here. Because you may not know it, but for the last 2 years, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish anything without your help, whether it's you all voting for us, or us knocking on some of your doors asking about the alcohol policy, or the white topper publishing what we're doing in Student Senate. We already consider you all part of our team, and we couldn't tell you how thankful we are already. And we hope that you all will allow Taylor and I to have the opportunity to continue following our passion on your behalf so that we can make the changes you want to see a reality. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the portion of the debate where the moderators and myself will be asking you all questions. Each participant will have the same opportunity to answer the question, and just a reminder that your responses will be timed and limited to 90 seconds, so we will ring the bell when your 90 seconds is up. So the first question, I'm going to let you all answer first. What do you feel makes you and your vice presidential candidate most qualified to be the voice of the students?
Actually, that's a great question. So as I mentioned earlier, Murph and I both come from the same platform of increasing student well-being, but we come from very different experiences. We plan to bring those experiences. Murph is planning more working on infrastructure, working on bringing more recreational opportunities to campus, and how that can help raise retention rates, which I don't want to speak for you, just kind of summarizing. Whereas I am interested more in creating safe spaces, some of the more tangible results of that, and how we can make students feel comfortable on the campus. So together, I think that we both have a picture of that where we can learn from each other's different experiences. Also, I would like to mention that I won the National President's Award for 4,000 hours of community service in the region and to the school. So I do think that because of that service connection, I've been able to work with multiple different groups. I'm the president of Peer Educators, which I just found out today, under my year of leadership, has won the Hope Award as one of the best club service community leaders. So with all these different things, I do think that can really help out.
That you all have the same opportunity. I'll repeat the question for you. What do you feel makes you and your vice presidential candidate most qualified to be the voice of the students?
That's a really good question, and I think it comes down to the student body president and vice president have to be ready to address the problems that are going to face SGA. And I really think that what that takes is experience in student government. You really can't understand the scope of things happening in student government and in the presidency unless you've served time in student government. And so we bring that experience. And furthermore, Taylor and I are already a team. Taylor isn't speaking much tonight. She's not feeling well, and she'll have an opportunity to speak in a moment. But we're really a team, and this is something we're really passionate about. And we're running because we love student government, and we love being the voice of our constituents. If you ask anyone in our districts, we're people who love this, and we're people who will go around and ask questions of our constituents and get their opinions. We know what it takes, and we know how to bring the voice to the Board of Trustees. We've spent a lot of time with them. We spent a lot of time with the administration, and this is really our passion. This is our niche, and this is where we want to be. Thank you.
All right, one hot topic on this campus is the inclusion of national fraternities and sororities. Hypothetically, if the Board of Trustees were to lift the ban on nationals, how would you help the student body progress to become unified as a campus and as a Greek system? Mr. Quickenberger, we'll start with you.
Thank you. That's a really great question. And as student body president, it's important to remember that if Taylor and I are elected, we're representing both the people who are against National Greek life and the people who are for it. And so as student body president, our goal would be to remain neutral. And if the Board of Trustees lifts the ban, it ultimately comes down to a question for the students. And so I would encourage the Senate to get involved on campus, to go talk to their constituents, and really make sure that we're getting the student input on this matter. Because ultimately, we as a community are going to be faced with this question, whether the board lifts it or not. This isn't going to go away. And so what we need to do is stay unified. And also, even if we disagree with the people trying to bring national fraternities on campus, we have to remember that this is a family. That even if we disagree with them, we have to keep the dialogue respectful. And this is about supporting one another and finding where each other's passions lie. And I think that if this issue continues in the future, I'll try to remain neutral and represent the students to the best of my ability, but I also understand that I represent both sides to this argument. Thank you.
Very much. Would you like to?
Absolutely. And so one thing that I think also makes us a very good team in this particular issue is I'm personally not involved in Greek life and North is. So in that way, I think we can both really represent both sides of campus concerning this particular aspect of Greek life and really kind of filling out exactly how do both sides feel about this. And also agree with Chase, having the Senate motivated is absolutely important. And absolutely making sure there are opportunities for all students' voices can be heard is crucial. And I personally feel as though, as president, you would of course have to remain neutral, no matter your personal viewpoints on the matter. But no matter what, I think one thing that we can really do, and one thing that can really unite all students, is the fact that we know that this campus really engages in hard work, and we really push students for project-based learning. So how many of you all at one point raise your hand, you tried to start an initiative on campus, you tried to start a project? Absolutely, and so with that in mind, I think that we can notice that individuals, whether student government, whether Greek life, whether trying to bring a national organization on campus, we can really unite under the fact that if this ban is lifted, and if they do come here, we can really appreciate that endeavor. We can really appreciate that they have worked hard, and if they're being respectful, we can see the hard work put into that, and we can make empathize with that a bit, and that can really unite us.
Thank you very much. My question is for the Vice President. As VP, how do you plan to use your role to have a positive impact on our campus?
Well, one of the things that I would just emphasize is just bringing everybody together as a whole and making everybody feel comfortable around each other. I think by doing things with each other and showing a positive example not only brings us together more, but it also brings the people. When people see us interacting with each other, when people see us together and being one and having fun and doing things despite everything that goes on around this campus, despite all the discrepancies, despite everything that's going on, it really shows people when they come here what the school is all about, what we plan to represent, and how we look forward to doing things. I think that's just what we go about it. I think you set a good example, but it's the way we treat each other, the way we act, being a tight-knit community, and just showing a positive example for anybody who comes to community college.
Well, as a senator, I see a lot of the problems that we're already facing in the Senate. And if we are elected, I would be the president of the Senate, and I would get a first-hand look at how to fix these things. And the major problem for us right now is just people out here in the baskets. We're all a little too busy. I think if we can make it a little more fun, a little more engaged, and break down that formal barrier, we can really get people more motivated and get Senate doing more things. Because we have a lot of great ideas, we just have a problem going through those ideas.
You might collect cards, because this is the session we're going to start calling some audience.
If you have a question, you're part before that, so you can
So the first question, I'll let you answer first. This one came from Facebook. How will we know if SGA is making progress? What are some of the practical goals and objectives that the candidates hope to set in order to measure success next year?
That's a really good question, and this has been a problem in SGA for several years now. SGA metaphorically doesn't take pride in what it does, and that's something that we want to change. And a large part of why it doesn't take pride in what it does is because a lot of students come in looking for this to be a resume booster. And that's a natural occurrence with anything like student government. What we have to do is we have to break down that barrier. Even those kids that come in have to be engaged. And the way we plan on doing that practically is by making the Senate retreat at the beginning of the year more encompassing, more thorough. Make it about teamwork and team bonding and getting things done. And moreover, if we want to measure the success of the Senate, we need to make sure that what the Senate's doing is public. That's up to you guys to decide if what your representatives are doing is productive. And we really need to start being more transparent. And that's one of the keys to Taylor and I's platform, is that we want to be transparent. Because I think that's been a problem with the past several administrations. And so Taekwon's been great about it in comparison to a lot of them. And I think this is something we want to work on. And we want to make what the Senate's doing known so that if you guys don't like what we're doing, or if you want to be a part of what we're doing, we want to bring you in and engage you and make sure those concerns or those support is being expressed, because this is a really big deal. So that's our plan for how to gauge Senate success, and we hope that you all can help us accomplish that. Thank you.
So So I think one thing we have to wonder about how to gauge success, and in the education program here, because I'm currently in the education department, one thing I've learned that's entirely valuable is wondering why exactly are people not motivated? What exactly is guiding people's lack of motivation? What is kind of creating that lull? And I've learned that there are several reasons for that. And one of those primary reasons why people feel unmotivated is that they don't feel connected, they don't feel recognized, and they don't feel as though they have the power to create substantial change. So with that in mind, Murph and I are really interested in creating, in each individual club, it would be optional, but it would be very encouraged, that each individual club would create a new special officer position. That officer position, they would be required to come sit meetings at least twice a month, or however deemed appropriate. And they would be directly sitting in on these meetings, they would be hearing exactly what's happening, and they would be able to represent their clubs that way. And that way, we would really bolster connectivity to Senate from each of the clubs on campus that chooses to participate. We would really open up that communication, because let's be honest, if you all are not involved in SGA, how many of you all could say right now exactly what they're doing in each meeting? So some of you can, but some of you couldn't. And that would be a way that we could really open those doors so that people do know, so that the senators do hear from them. And that would be something really tangible that we could do.
How will each of the candidates make this campus a safer place for trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming students?
Wow, I'm glad you asked. This is actually a huge passion of mine. And so I've actually campaigned for gender neutral housing on campus, which if you don't know what that is, that involves that you wouldn't be limited to being put into a room with someone of your biological sex. That you could room with someone who was any sex or any gender, even if that's self-identified. I've also campaigned for gender neutral restrooms at several locations on campus, and I've also spoken with admissions about having an other option for self-identifying. Because currently on all our applications for admission, we have male and female. And we don't oftentimes think about there are people that fit other categories. And that would be another way to make students coming in, applying to the school, feel more welcome.
I think this is a really tough issue, and it's one that I think a lot of students don't yet understand. So I think our plan for this is really twofold, and we've thought about this a lot. One, we need to work on gender neutral housing. I'll agree with Lakin. That is a must. And I think that the Senate has the power to do that. We have what's called the Housing and Grounds Committee in the Senate, and this would be the first thing I gave the Housing and Grounds Committee at the beginning of the next Senate year to work on. This would be the first thing on my agenda for them. And second of all, we need to start increasing education on campus about this, because this is a huge social topic coming up right now in our society. We need to stay on top of this. And so we need to start educating students who I think are intolerant because they don't understand what it really means, what gender identity really means, what sexual identity really means, and how these are all very separate ideas. And they're very hard to understand, but I think it needs to start becoming a part of our campus dialogue. And this is where we engage the students. It's these kind of issues where we really focus on the student body, and we really try to make this community better. Because this is, I literally can't stress how huge this topic is, and we need to be at the forefront as a college of making sure that we're accepting of people with different gender identities and sexual identities and orientations. And I think we can do that, because I think this is an awesome community, and that would be the first thing I hand to student life and housing and grounds next semester.
I think we've both heard from both tickets about what you would do to increase involvement in the Senate. What would you do overall to get students more involved in our campus?
This is really important because I think a lot of students right now don't feel involved at all. In my platform, I talked about the Adopt a Weekend program. And if you talk to students, a lot of the retention problems come with the fact that students don't feel like there's anything to do here on the weekends. And there's a fair claim to that. That really is a good point, that we don't have that much. And we kind of expect EVE to take on all of the burden of that. And that's really unfair, because while EVE has a fairly large budget, it's still limited, and they can't plan something every weekend. It's run by college students, and it's a lot of work. And so we as a Senate, and we as a student body can really step up to make this better. And so that's what the Adopt a Weekend program would be about, and Taekwon has already got the ball rolling on this, and I gotta give credit to him. He's done great work, and our goal would be to have campus organizations plan events for the weekend, and more than that, make Senate something that's open. Open the doors to Senate. Allow students to come in and raise their concerns and their voices to this. Senate meetings are so formal, but this is our platform to get things done. So I think we engage our students by making Senate more approachable, by making it more engaging, by making it more fun, by encouraging leadership amongst our other students.
Those are really good points that I agree with. I'll take it a little bit further. I think that to kind of wonder why people aren't being involved, you have to ask, does everyone feel safe? Because when people really be involved if they don't feel safe on campus, if they don't feel safe engaging in discourse or creating their own mark? And so with that in mind, that really goes to opening these avenues for reporting. If there are incidents on campus of various issues that have sexism, racism, trans issues as well, LGBTQ awareness, I think that first of all, we have to make sure this is a safe campus before we can jump up and make sure it's recreational. However, of course, obviously, we go here and this is our home and we do want to enjoy it. And so after we do make sure there are avenues for reporting that are safe, to make sure that everyone is aware of these safety issues and that we're able to open avenues for that, I definitely want to make sure that each of the clubs feel supported. I want to create a club buddy network, so to speak, and a mentoring program. So let's say there's a couple students who want to start a robotics club on campus. Well, I think that what would be really important is in part of their trying to create this charter and trying to create their own work on campus, and thus find entertainment, they would be paired with a group that would already have a year's worth of experience. They would sit in on these meetings, they would network in that way, and that way it would create less work for SGA and trying to train them. And so in that way, I think we need to really foster cross-campus connections with students. We need to make them feel safe to engage in these issues, and we need to show them that their voice truly does matter, and that they can change the campus for the better.
Okay, I'll answer this first. How will you assure students feel as if their voices are being heard through student life and through the college administration?
That's a very good point. And so that goes back to my other platform point about having open town halls type discussions. I know we do have forums quite frequently, but sometimes these aren't very well advertised or they're kind of held at awkward times. I want to have regular open town hall type discussions where people can come in, where there's not even necessarily a set agenda, where people can just come and express their opinions. And that way there's transparency, as has been mentioned by the other party, but there's also accountability. There's accountability from the administration to actually sit and face these students face to face. And that shows you all that, hey, there is progress being made, my voice is concretely being heard.
That's a really tough question to face. And I think the answer is simple, and it's one that we don't often think about. How many of you know who your student senator are? Student senators. That's an impressive number, but that's an impressive number of you who don't. And that's because we're not really approachable. Senate isn't really approachable. And so part of our plan of having this Senate Unite organizations is to also increase the visibility of Senate. Because students don't want to go to a forum or a town hall on a Friday night. Students want their voices to be heard, but they have other things to do. And that's why we need to start breaking down this formality and start having Senate's name on events and have senators at events hosted by organizations. And the reason why is because if you go up to your senator in a less formal setting, you're much more likely to express your concerns and your interests in that setting. And so we want to use this increased activity on campus to not only promote our organizations, but to also promote the visibility of our Senate and our senators, so that you all know who to approach. You all know where your voices are concerned. And moreover, this takes strengthening our position with the administration and faculty and making sure that the transparency there exists. So that way, when we express a concern to the administration, we can directly tell the students, hey, this is what's happening, this is how this concern is addressed. And we have the means to do that. We have the White Topper, we have many forms of media on campus, and that's where we have to stay involved as a cabinet. And that takes a lot of dedication and hard work, and that's where Taylor and I will come in.
All right, so you all talked a little bit about how you work with the administration, but specifically, what do you imagine your relationship with the administration will look like? Mr. Bickenberger, we'll start with you.
Our relationship with the administration is going to be based also on teamwork, because we need to be the unifiers between the administration and the student body. Of course, we're going to have to negotiate on things because the administration and the student body constantly disagrees. And so our job as student body president and vice president is to work with them to make sure that we're finding the common middle ground. Because as much as I'd love to have everything we ask for as a community, there are a lot of limiting factors as to why we don't get those things. So right now we're asking for so many things like, well, I know people aren't comfortable with the way that dorms are right now, and that's a very legitimate concern. They're not residence halls, we don't live there, they're just dorms, they're just places we sleep. But the problem is we're working on a tight budget. And so what can we do in the meantime to find the middle ground on those issues where we may not be able to have that much money? So we have to build a healthier relationship with the administration, and a relationship with the administration where the students are getting answers. And that ultimately falls on us as student body president and vice president, to be open, clear, and honest about the conversations we're having with the administration.
Well, my and Mer's past relationship and current relationship with administration is very open and honest. Some of you may have been opening actually inside protest whenever there was the open discussion. And although I respect any administrators, I was very open with saying, hey, I think this conversation is going a little bit condescendingly. And so I think that it is important to have SGA connections. Senate is important that we do represent the student body. However, I kind of want to help break down that middleman. That's part of our platform. And our platform is, of course, bringing harmony to the Senate and helping those connections be made. But I also want to empower each of you to feel empowered to connect to administration yourself by opening those platforms that you personally feel comfortable to know, for one thing, who to go to if you have problems in administration. If you don't feel comfortable with that or don't know, then come to us and I will point you in that direction or will represent you. And so in that way, I think just being treated like equals with administration and just being open and completely honest. Having respect, of course, but also acknowledging that we're all working toward the same goal. It's been a very tense time on campus, but it's been exciting to be knowing that everyone has goals, but also everyone is working toward the same goal of increasing campus harmony. And in that way, I think Murph and I, our past interactions through various club activities and our involvement in our majors has really kind of fostered that already.
It's now time to move to our closing statements. These statements will last no more than 40 minutes. Mr. Crick,
We as a community are in the middle of trying times. We're facing a budget crisis. Greek community is having to face the question of national fraternities and sororities. And our school's diversity and inclusiveness is being seriously questioned for the first time, as it should have been a long time ago. Not only can these be hard, but they can be divisive. In the coming year, we need a student body president and vice president that focuses on unity. I commend the work Taekwon and his cabinet have already done in regards to this. And unity is really the central theme to our platform. Unity among organizations, unity in the Greek community, and unity among the student body, faculty, and administration. This college is a family. We're not going to be able to get through these trials alone. Taylor and I want to bring everyone together for the sake of bettering our college. And having worked in the Senate on such controversial issues as the alcohol policy and national Greek life, Taylor and I are more than qualified to accomplish the goals we have presented, as well as those you bring to us. And we hope that you all will vote for us in the coming days and continue to allow us to serve you. As student body president, I'm not going to be tasked with representing my beliefs. I'm here to fight for everyone else's, even if at times they're at odds with each other. However, this is not anything new to myself and Taylor. We've already been serving in this capacity for 2 years, and it's something we both seriously love. Emory is our home and our family, and we can think of no greater honor than to serve as the student body president and vice president, and be your voice to the administration, faculty, and board of trustees. Thank you.
So for one thing, I just want to say that I think this has just been an incredible opportunity to learn more about each of you and each of your concerns as well. Now, I want you all to do something for me if you will indulge me. Will you please close your eyes? Okay, I see some skeptical looks, but just bear with me. Please close your eyes. Okay. I see you, Scott Green. Please close your eyes. Okay, thank you. Now, would you please listen to the question and raise your hand if you have ever felt that you did not have someone to reach out to, that if you had a problem, personal or otherwise, you didn't know really if you would have someone who would truly listen to you, someone who could show you where to go to get a solution. So you can please keep your eyes closed and raise your hand if you've ever had that situation, maybe of loneliness or helplessness. Okay, you can lower your hands and please open your eyes. Now, I want each of you to know that if you were ever in that situation, one thing I'm sorry, but I want you to know that changes now. Now you know someone who's really in your corner. You know two people, in fact. Murph and I are truly passionate about each student, each of you. And we care deeply about the student body. If I've never formally met you, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. After this, anytime, social media, I'm always here. Murph and I have the goal to make each of you, each student, feel more comfortable on campus. You have heard our own ideas about exactly physically what we would do to change campus. The fact that I've had 4 years of SGA experience before, I'm very familiar with Public School Supporter and how we both are involved in multiple student organizations. And we want to listen to any of your problems that you have without judgment. We will strive to answer any of your concerns. If we don't immediately know the answers to your concerns or questions, because believe it or not, Murph and I may not be perfect, because we're human beings, but we'll definitely find out what those answers are, and we'll help point you in the right avenues, and we'll learn right alongside you. Murph and I want to go and want to give you the representation you deserve. Emory is a beautiful place. Let's be honest, it's our home. And each of you is a valuable member of that community. To be SGA leaders is, in a way, to be like teachers. We plan to lift up your spirits, to listen to your concerns, and to work with you. To really encourage all of you to take risks, to engage in discussions that, while perhaps difficult, can make us stronger as people in a community. We will facilitate the changes that not we, but you want, helping give you the support to shape a campus that you really want to call home. We want to learn from each of you and make this campus into a place of which we can all be proud. And we can do that together, one step at a time. Thank you very much for listening tonight, and please feel free to reach out to Mark or to I anytime. Thank you.
Thank you again for attending the SGA presidential debate. Let's please take a moment one more time and thank our candidates for putting themselves out here and a good debate tonight. So thank you. You want to share with the students a bit about the election process that's coming up?
Sure. Well, please.
Sure. I, along with being chief of staff, chief elections officer, I'll come here so y'all don't have to all turn around. So tonight we're going to set up the elections. It's going to be run through a Google form that you will have to sign in with your Emory account to fill out, so we make sure that people aren't voting twice or anything like that. The elections will open tomorrow morning and they will close at noon on Friday. We're planning on sending it out in a mass email. There'll be links all over the place. And that will have these elections, also the elections for senior orator, and I guess it's also an election, the voting process for the Excellence in Teaching Award. So we'll make sure everybody knows when those are up tomorrow morning. Please tell all of your friends. And the winners of this will be announced at Awards Day on Sunday.
Thank you again for attending the election. I'm sure the candidates will be here sometime if you want to talk to them in person. Everybody have a good night.